Tonight, I wanted to talk about seeking the Saku, but I just saw the debate where Kamala went on Fox News. Did anybody happen to catch that? Go ahead. You did, Sebastian? Did you? No.
No, I had to record it. I'll be watching it after we get off here.
Well, you know what? I thought that, first of all, I thought it was going to be an hour. I guess they didn't want to give her any time to address whatever they wanted to talk about. And then they started, I don't watch Fox News, and I know the guy that was interviewing her is very popular, a broadcaster on Fox News. And he just started jamming her up right away and wouldn't let her finish her thoughts. And so she just had to say the things that she wanted to get out there. It was only a 30-minute interview. I read a lot of different websites, and one of them is Raw Story, RAW Story, and it talked about what did it say? It talked about the obnoxious. Let's see. Well, she just stood her ground, and when they were doing the commentary afterwards, one of the and I think the guy who interviewed her made this characterization. He said, "Well, she was having a Sister Soldier moment." Yeah, yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah, yeah. That's what you know what though. That's what you can expect when you go on Fox. Okay, just But I think the other thing is, see, she was brave enough as a person who's seeking to be the leader of the free world. She was brave enough to go on Fox, and it looks very bad for Trump because he won't even go on that because he's in such a mental decline. And I know you probably have seen the where it was at his rally, and he had like 39 minutes of just music, and he didn't really have. He was trying to do some dance steps, and I don't think he really knows what the song YMCA is about. This. Go ahead, Sebastian. Go ahead.
Let me throw this in there, that when she accepted the invitation to come on, or however it went, if she initiated, what have you, the orange guy got very upset that they were letting her come on the show.
Yeah.
So it could have very well have been an hour show until he expressed his.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
His ill. Okay, so even with that, let's just say that one of the things that they're going to jam her on is the immigration. Well, her come back to the immigration.
That was the first thing that they asked, and they wouldn't. He wouldn't let her finish.
Right.
And she had to Trump,
If Trump was afraid of her coming on, if she was to finish, her reply to that has always been, it was voted upon until he. So now his people would get to hear that he shot it down, and he does not want her to have that platform to be able to say that, because the only people they listen to is Fox, and now she's on there basically exposing him.
Yeah, well, so what she said to that, it was the very first question what she said was, within hours of us, you know, taking the oath of office, we tried to put this thing through. You know, like within hours, and he wouldn't let her finish, and so she had to say, "Let me get my thought uh, through."
Mm.
You know, she had to, yeah. She had to do that a few times, and then at another point, it said, "Well, you said that the president is unstable," and she said, "Yes, he is. You know, you know, yeah, he's nuts. You know, and well, she didn't say that, but you know, she's and then he said, well, at what point did you notice Joe Biden's decline? You know, and she had to say, Joe Biden isn't running for the president. I am. You know, she had to say that, and she talked about how he was saying the enemy within, and he was naming people, and they showed a clip, a Fox News clip, and she said that is not the clip that he was making those statements. You and I both know, you know, so she was getting to them in a real time. So Saraswati has put that in. Mama Rose, are you able to see that in the chat? We've completed signups for all 40 million for our 2024. Thanks for the 296,000 volunteers who helped. And then she put a website on there. Mama Rose, are you able to get that? Mom. Oh, Mama Rose is not. Oh, yeah. Yes, she is.
No, what is the website for?
No.
So the website. So when you came in, before you came in, Saraswati, what she's doing, she's putting stamps on postcards for Kamala Harris, and Mama Rose asked her, you know, how she could do it, and I think that they're all they're completed, and that's what Saraswati is putting in the chat. But she also gives the website turnoutpack.org / postcards.
I've never pulled one down from the chat, but I will try to do my best.
Okay. Otherwise, Saraswati, do you have Mama Rose's information?
Just put it in your email. Don't worry about it. I'll send it to you.
She'll send an email, Mom. So
Thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So she had to say, you know, you don't say that to people, you know, enemy within and threaten. And so she got a little forceful, and they don't like that. You know, I think about when Huckabee was saying that Kamala wasn't. What did she say? She wasn't. It's a word like timid, but that's not the word. She wasn't because she didn't have children. She's not humble, and I thought about that, and you know what? If you're going to be the president, you're not a humble person. You know that's not in your makeup. And then the other thing too is I think some of the people who are shall we say melanin deficient are not you know, they think somebody like Kamala and us here in this Zoom meeting should be humble. You know, somebody that's from Arkansas. My wife's people are from Arkansas, and many of them. My wife's mother had four sisters and 5 brothers, and I only think a couple of them went back to Arkansas. You know, when they left, they never went back. You know, I'm not going to disparage Arkansas for any of you that that are from there, love it, etc. But
You
maybe
get
somebody that's from Arkansas thinks people of color should be humble. Go ahead, Sebastian.
you're getting too big for your britches. You need to
That's
be put
right.
in your place.
That's right. You need to be put in your place. That's essentially what she's saying. Go ahead, Sugar D. Go ahead.
My daughter and I had a conversation today about how uh, we as Black women cannot show how we feel or our emotions when things happen, and we have to hold back because the first thing they say that we're angry Black women.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but on the other hand, the non-melanin person can go in crazy. And I think we were looking at where a child was missing, and the Black lady was real calm about it, and wasn't something was said to her, and she handled it very nicely. I think it was sexual assault, and she was going up to the school about her two boys being sexually assaulted, and she called the police when she got ready to go to the school to address it because they were like trying to sweep it under the rug. And the lady behind the desk said something to her snippy, and to me, I would have just, I would, but she was real cool about it. And I know that thing angered her. And I was saying, and my daughter said, you know what? And she said, it's so sad that we have to just, walk, just hold our peace like that.
Yes.
Because we'll be portrayed as, angry Black woman, but white woman can go in there and act, crazy. And
yeah,
it's sad, but it is.
It is.
Yeah, I thought after she said that, I thought about that, and that's really what she was saying, particularly the audience that she was addressing. All right. Anything else that should we be talking about, Kamala? Oh, she was on the what's that guy? The God,
Charlemagne the God.
Charlemagne. I really liked her interview on Charlemagne the God. I thought she was really
Well, when I
good.
listened to the questioning that you mentioned of her on Fox, they really watched that interview the night before with Charlemagne. And
Yeah.
that's why they knew what her responses were going to be. And
Yeah.
they chopped her off before she even got going.
Yeah. They did not want to give her the platform because there's a lot of people that watch Fox, and they don't want to mess up their narrative that they've been pushing.
I watch Fox about, I don't know, maybe about twice a week.
Really, it's very hard for me to do it, and
well,
you have to tune in on the enemy.
Well,
right.
you know what?
It comes from like being an athlete.
So like if something happens, like something big happens, Doris will go to Fox just to see what crazy things they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, really, we don't last like 5 minutes watching it. It's just really, I don't know. Hey,
Mo, in the world of athletics, you always study the film of your opponent.
Sure.
You always study the film of your opponent.
Yeah. But you know what? And I'm not saying I'm psychic or anything, but every time I go there, that's exactly what they say. Exactly what I thought they was going to say. They don't change it. I wish they would prove me wrong. Like, oh wow, I was wrong.
But we've always been able to figure them out. They've never been able to figure us out. We always know what they're going to say.
I guess so. Go ahead, Tony. Go ahead.
I have a question. I don't watch a lot of news, but I do watch sometimes. But I'm wondering, what has anyone ever, or do people ever correct Trump and others when they call her by her wrong name? I mean, he just keeps saying Kamala. And I've heard other people call her Kamala, and no one says anything. Has anyone ever heard anyone being corrected? That's my question.
Absolutely not.
No, Mom.
Tony, if you were able to watch what Imho was speaking of the other day about him not taking any questions and listening to music for 39 minutes, if you looked at everybody on that stage and around him, they dared not complain about what he was doing or anything. They're not going to correct him ever.
Yes.
And they end up taking on the talking points and the pronunciation that he throws out there.
Yeah. Well, did you see how that woman? And I was watching Randy Rhodes today, so I'm sharing with you some of the news things that so I read Raw story, RAW story. I listen to Tom Hartman. I also listen to Randy Rhodes, and Randy was saying today that woman on the stage, that the stage where he was, doing his 39-minute dance routine, she was talking to him like a second grader. You know how you don't want to anger like a little kid the way that she was talking to him, because he had just said, he had just told the guy, play this, play that music we talk about, and if you don't do it, and he tells the crowd, if he doesn't do it, he's fired.
And you know what, Baba? This is Mama Gina.
Go ahead.
She was so taken aback by his madness. She did not know that he was going to do that. She looked embarrassed. She was totally embarrassed by his antics. And it seems like if she didn't think she was going to have some serious repercussions, she would have said something. But she looked scared to death, and she wanted to say something, but she just wouldn't. She couldn't believe that he actually did that. Took no questions,
right.
None. She was embarrassed. I
know
noticed
why?
that.
You know why? Because he can't answer a question.
Exactly. He said vote in July 7th or July 2nd instead of November. Nobody corrects him. Nobody. He must have something on all of them. I don't know what it is, but
yeah, I think like with Lindsey Graham, he must have him in a picture with little boys or something.
yeah.
The way that he acts. But anyway, did I say that out aloud? I'm sorry. But
No, you didn't. We all just read your mind.
So, what else was I going to say, Sebastian? Anyway, now what do you think of this? Randy Rhodes. Now, I've been listening to Randy Rhodes for 20 years, and I don't know if you remember the old Air America. Air America used to come on the radio, and it was Stephanie Miller, Tom Hartman, then Randy Rhodes would come on, and that guy that was a comedian on Saturday Night Live, that was a senator. He was part of the lineup. What was that guy? You know what I'm talking about? You guys maybe can't call his name, but you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, Randy said today what she thinks is they're trying to tank the U.S. economy so that they can bring in, like Bitcoins and stuff like that. That's why they got Vance as the Al Franken, thanks.
Al Franken, right.
As his running mate, because that's what they want to do. They want to convert everything to Bitcoin. That was one of her postulates. Hey, Kitty, how are you, sir? Yeah. All right. Yeah. So right, yeah, Christy Noman. Was that her name? You know, because me and Doris were trying to say, was that Trump's daughter-in-law that was talking to him, or Christy Noman? Okay.
Yeah, she's gotten a lot of press for killing her dog in a strange way.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
As if that wasn't crazy enough. You know, they showed something. Remember, what was that guy? He was running for president, and he went. "Whoop." You know
Right.
that ruined his career.
Yes.
But now you could
Yes.
just say anything, you know, and it just goes. Yeah, yeah. Killing. Yes, she was killing her cat. What was the story on that? How did that go, Sebastian? Do you remember how it went, or Bill, or anybody? I can't remember, but it was something really cruel with pets, and she thought that you know, like, well, Trump is into cruelty, so she thought, well, maybe, you know, she'd get picked up as his running mate. I think that's what, yeah. So she was talking about killing her dog. This is before
Yes.
the story. You know, yeah, she was talking about killing her dog and cat or something crazy. Anyway, hey, let's talk about seeking the Saku. If you guys, or if you want to continue on this discussion, we can. I'm not wedded to it necessarily. Let me just share just one thing with you. This past Sunday, we went to the Ma'afa, and Ma'afa is the commemoration of the Middle Passage, and this is like the 29th year, and it's been at Ocean Beach in San Francisco, and the sister that organizes it is her name is Wanda Sabir, and let me just. So when I was walking up to it, this is part of the crowd that was there, and everybody wears white, and the security wears black. So all the security people are wearing black. Let's see where's the next picture. So yeah, that's it there. And of course, we recognize the ancestors. And what ends up happening with these flowers is that each person gets a flower, and we dig a small hole, and we put each petal in that hole, and that represents. Thandiwe, do you remember? I know that you're there. Do you remember what we said? What Wanda said about the rose petal there?
I'm sorry, I don't.
Okay, but you know, it had to do with your negative feelings about different things.
Yeah, I think it was burying your feelings. But the ones that you see right here on the altar, we took those and tossed those in the ocean.
Yes, and their remembrance of a particular ancestor or something that you would like to be carried on out into the ocean. And now this brother here, he's from Gambia, and his wife is from here. But so he's playing the kora, and I absolutely love the kora instrument. So I asked him to come and play at our Kwanzaa here in Sacramento on the 28th, and we're going to try to make that happen. Absolutely beautiful instrument, and it has a lot of cultural significance. He's the 74th in line in his family, generation to generation of kora players.
Yeah, he played at Bosse Oakland one. I'm not sure if it was a Sunday, but one evening. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, he's really good, and that's him again. Wanda had it set up so that you could go to this QR code and get the program that we were going by that day. Now, this is me. You know, when you go to these things, you see people that you haven't seen in years. And this is Mike Roosevelt. And Mike and I were teammates on the San Francisco State track team. And we haven't seen each other in years. Go ahead, Kitty. Go ahead, Kitty.
Just double checking. Are you sharing a screen right now? I'm not seeing.
Yeah, I am. Can everybody else see it?
No.
You can?
I can.
I see a picture of you.
I can.
Yeah, I am sharing a screen, Kitty.
Okay. I'll try and figure out what's going on. Sorry about that.
Oh no, that's all right. That's all right. I'm sorry for those that can't see it, but this is Mike Roosevelt. Haven't seen him in years, and you know, I there he is, and he was a great 400-meter runner.
Yo-ho.
Oh, and this isn't part of the group, but Ra, you know, he sent us on Sunday. You know, I did it. I'm board certified, so he's a board certified physician. So that's I didn't mean to share that. Let's see. Oh, is this what I? Let's see. Brother Iman read a poem from this woman. Her name is Marianne Williamson at the Ma'afa event, and this is really a good poem. If you send me a note, or maybe I'll drop it in the chat. If you want that, I'll send that to you.
What movie was that? It was a movie that highlighted that poem. I think it was Keela and the Spelling Bee or something like that.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
It's a movie. Yeah.
I did not know that. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a Keela and the Bee.
It was, yeah. That's what I thought.
Oh, okay. Also, I might as well just share these things with you. So in our on our prayer list in the Love Supreme, this brother here, Brother Takumba, who was a great drummer in the African community in the Bay Area, Brother Moshe, who's like a master drummer, went and visited him, and he posted this on Facebook, and you know, he's telling us that Brother Takumba needs to get better services as far as like physical and speech therapy, and he's, you know, is talking about it's always uplifting for him to see family and friends as well as any of his students, and I thought I would say that, and there's Takuma on the right, and Baba Moshe with his thumb up.
Minister, do they have his address or contact information on that paper?
Let's see. Hold on. Let me find that out. You know what? I don't see it here, Thandi Way, but I think Ustadi might have that information.
Yeah, Ustadi.
He will.
Connie has it as well. I've been there several times, but I don't know the address.
Okay.
And that picture on the wall that's by over his bed is a beautiful collage of a lot of work that he's done in the community that someone put on this wall there.
You know what? He made a second post that had that on there. But I didn't save that. Maybe I can get that and put that in the mix too. But yeah, okay, I have it.
I would love to have it.
Okay, let me save it. It takes a little while for things to sync up from my phone to this laptop. So, but anyway, let's keep going. So there he is, Brother Takumba, and looks like Moshe brought him some food. He had a stroke, and you know, he was very active, but then, you know, when you have a stroke, it's very debilitating, and so he's recovering.
I gotta go. I'm at my other meeting now. So
all right.
I'll see you guys. Y'all be blessed. Take care.
All right. Live up. Thanks for joining us. And this brother here, Brother Zion, I exchanged numbers with him. And then this sister's from she's from Nigeria. She's an Igbo, and she taught us this Igbo warrior dance while we were there. And of course, there's Minister Alicia leading us in prayer. And you've seen this guy. And there he is again. And
said Brother Zion. He has another name. He was at Wose, Oakland.
Oh, he was? Yeah. When he introduced himself to me, he was Brother Zion.
I'm not sure if that's Aikwe.
Or something like that.
I'm telling you, he you know what?
He kind of looks like
maybe not. Okay, maybe not. There was another
Brother Zion was another fellow.
Yeah.
That I spoke.
Yeah. You're right. So anyway, but I met him. He wanted to. There was something really pressing on his mind that he wanted to talk about to the community. You know, and so he might be showing up at Holly Street one morning. This is not a clear picture of Wanda. Wanda Sabir has been organizing the Kwanzaa for a number of years, and not the Kwanzaa, the Ma'afa for a number of years. Well, I think since it's been in existence for 29 years. That's not a clear picture of her. And these are again some people there at the Ma'afa. There's Wanda. This picture didn't come out so clear. This guy on the end had a really good voice. That's Brother Iman, Desmond Iman, with the microphone. And anybody know who that is? That's right, Mama Fua.
Mama Fua.
Mm-hmm. There's Wanda.
I would have loved to see more people.
Now, I'm glad that you said that, because that's what one of the security guards wanted to talk to me about. He said that okay, so that's it. He said that hey, look, I said this to Wanda, but you know, I would like to get more people there, and I said that we should start in July. You know, with the advertisement. Now I'm going to, as I'm talking, I made a Sugar D. I made a video about it. I know you clown me, so I thought I would say that before you did. But yeah, so I made a video about our about past about past my office.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. I did a short reel about last year. I haven't even posted the pictures from this year, but I enjoyed your video.
Yeah, well, let me show it to you, and to just give you an idea of how many people would come. And you know what's interesting, you know, when you take these pictures, you know, sometimes a couple of years, you know, going forward, those people have crossed over to the other side. So some of the people that are on this video, they're no longer with us. You know, they're ancestors. We're pouring libations for them. So let me start here. Come back. Start at the beginning. All right, here we go. There you go. There you go. I'm in. Saraswati. Let me back up here. So this is an example of what I'm talking about. So this guy here, I grew up with, and he's a little bit older than me, and the kids on the block called him Squirt, and his given name is Anthony. And then later on, he had joined the All African People's Revolutionary Party, and he changed his name to Apara. But see, okay, Apara is gone now. He's passed on, and I didn't mean to do that.
His daughter is at Howard right now. She was an Iliomade student.
Yes, yes. Thank you for saying that, Mama Rose. Yeah, and then this next picture. So, you know, we were talking about Mike Roosevelt earlier. This is Mike's older brother, Timba. And there's Charles Brown. And so, you know what? There's Jahi there in the background. There, looks like. You're going to see all kind of people when you go to these to the Ma'afa. Yeah. So, I'm glad I put that together. Sometimes I don't know why I'm doing these things, and I got yours, Sebastian. I don't know if it'll sync up in time, but you know, like, okay, I think that one there was a picture of Saraswati in there. I think that was her first time going, and that was years ago. About how many years ago was that, Saraswati? Yeah, at least 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah. And go ahead, Sebastian. Go ahead.
As you were speaking of your college mate Mike Roosevelt, what was interesting to the story with me and him is that it was both of our first time, and in the dark of the morning, I walk up and I introduce myself and, do you need some help with this? And he and I walking out there. So prior to you coming, he and I just having great conversation, right? Only for me to know that, you guys have known each other for forever.
Yeah. We were really good friends, and I want to tell you who else was on that track team. Some of you will say Oakland. Terrence Elliott was on that track team. He was a triple jumper, and
Sound healing.
Yeah, the sound healing guy. He was a triple jumper, and we would take these long bus trips. So, like, from San Francisco to Humboldt State, it's a long, bus ride going there. And Terrence would be there playing his melodica while we were going up to, he was always, ever since I knew him, he was a fantastic musician. So you saw him in sound healing, but he's really a brilliant pianist. Yeah, and his wife is a great singer. Yeah. All right.
I picked up their CD. I did hear.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Yeah. So, Amin, did you see yourself there? Just briefly. About how many years ago was that? Do you recall? You're muted. You're muted. You're muted.
I would probably say about 6 years ago.
Okay. About 6 years ago. Keisha, were you going to say something? You look like no. Okay. All right. Now, should I get to the topic I was going to do? What do you think? Kitty's like, yeah, do that. All right. Hold tight.
But we most certainly always enjoy your little side trips.
Yeah, I take them periodically. So, back a while, Dr. Wade Nobles wrote a book called "Seeking the Saku." Anybody know what that is? We're gonna get to that, but anybody before we go any further, anybody want to hazard to guess what that is?
The divine within.
That's right.
The truth, seeking the truth.
Yes. All very good definitions for that. So I'm going to start out with Colin Kaepernick. And, Colin Kaepernick was, he was moved to start kneeling at the opening of games, NFL football games, nationally televised NFL football games, because of the police brutality and the unanswered police brutality that were happening to a number of our people, both young men and young women. And it's not like it just started, but there was a rash of national ones. And this happened during the presidency of Barack Obama. That's something that I don't think that was stressed enough in this. People were so upset that a black man was the president. These things started to escalate, and even one young man, white man, came into a black church, sat in their prayer meeting, and killed everybody but one, so that there would be a witness. You know, so there was a lot going on. We don't talk about it as much now, even though you'll still hear reports. So Colin Kaepernick, because of Freddie Gray, Michael Brown, and Eric Gardner, he started kneeling with his 49er teammates as the national anthem was being played. And this, of course, it was a protest. And so the power structure, the people that support the power structure, they were really, well, they were incensed about it. You know, how dare these people do this? You know, and then it caught on across the NFL. Other teams started doing it. You guys remember that? You know, and this is his reason for kneeling. I'm not going to stand up to show pride in a flag for a country that oppresses black people and people of color. Uh-oh. Standing up for black people. And you know what? This caught on around the world. And my sons played a lot of soccer. And because of that, we started watching English Premier League, EPL. And at the start of EPL games, both teams kneel. And they say the reason why that they're kneeling is there's no room for racism. Because, you know, when during soccer games, and there are a lot of Africans and Africans that grew up in Europe. There are a lot of stars that are from the continent, or like there was this guy named Thierry Henry that played for Arsenal, and there was this guy Didier Drogba who was from the Ivory Coast, and because they were so good, sometimes fans would throw banana peels on the field. You know, so this no room for racism caught on, and it was because of the gesture that was inspired by Colin Kaepernick. Now, one thing that this brought out was, you know, like Mama Keisha is kind of a stickler for singing all three verses of Lift Every Voice and Sing. And actually, at Ma'afa, we sang all three verses, Mama Keisha. I know that you noted that. But you know, when you sing the Star Spangled Banner, you only sing the first verse. But the third verse, and this is the website to go to it. But the third verse says, and where is that band who was so vauntly swore that the havoc of war and the battle's confusion a home and a country should leave us no more. Their blood was washed out their soul, that their blood has washed out their foul footsteps, pollution. No refuge could slave the hurling slave from the terror of flight or the groom of the grave. So in the Star Spangled Banner, it's actually it's making a reference to slavery. So most people, I know I wouldn't have, most people would have never thought about, come to that conclusion that, okay, the third verse of the Star Spangled Banner is talking about slavery. No refuge could slave the hurling and slave from the terror of flight or the groom of the grave. And the Star Spangled Banner in triumph doth wave o'er the land of the free. So yeah, all that brought that out. But his gesture has an ancient and sacred origin. Here is Hor, or Heru, Horus in Greek, and here is a Pur'ah, and here is Anpu in that gesture that Colin Kaepernick. And this pose is even found among the Nok of ancient Nigeria. The Heru Shango Oath pose of devotion to heroism, ancient indigenous African biocultural heritage. So one goes back to at least 1200 BC, Kemetic, Kushite Kemetic, and another one in 700 BC in Nigeria. Here is Hor, or Heru, and Pur'ah, and Anpu. It's called the Henu pose. 3 kneeling figures in pose of jubilation. This is found, of course, where else? The British Museum. And here, I don't know what the significance is. One is doing it with his left hand up. The others are doing with their right hand. So there's a significance to it, I'm sure, but I don't know what it is. But in general, that's the pose.
Black power.
Black power. Yeah, really. Yeah. So here, bronze kneeling figure of Horus of Pi. There are many falcon-headed deities in the Egyptian pantheon, but the pose of this figure wears a short kilt and long wig, makes it clear that it represents a divine being known as the soul of Pi. The characteristic pose, kneeling on one leg with fists clenched against the breast and one above the shoulder, represents jubilation and was adopted, whether greeting the rising sun or welcoming the dead king into the next world. That's the significance. One or some of the significance of that pose. Now, Dr. Wade Nobles, there he is. And you know what, Dr. Wade Nobles, when he lived in the Bay Area, he would always, him and his wife, they would always come to our anniversary, and I'm sure other times there at Holly Street. And that's Dr. Wade Nobles. And this is the book that he wrote, Seeking the Saku, Foundational Writings for an African Psychology. He's a psychologist, Dr. Wade Nobles is. And this is the scene in his book. And see, they're doing that pose again, the Henu pose. So Somebody want to read that? The highlighted portions. Why should I have all the fun?
I will do
That-
so.
Go ahead.
I have suggested that a complete and full understanding of African people should be governed by a deep, profound, and penetrating search, study, and mastery of the process of illuminating the human spirit or essence, ergo the Saku Sheti. As a framework, seeking the Saku has been a search for a profound and penetrating understanding of the psychology of African people, independent of non-African conceptualizations. Gerald Massey suggested that the word Saku meant understanding, the illuminator, the eye, the soul of being, that which inspires. Both Naeem Akbar and I suggested that psyche in the word psychology was probably derived from the Kemetic term Saku. In the desire to be accurate in the classification of my seeking the Saku, I asked Dr. Theophile Obenga, the foremost living Egyptologist in the world today, to translate the term seeking the Saku. Professor Obenga identified a relief from the private tomb at Saqqara from the 9th or 10th dynasty. In interpreting the relief, Professor Obenga pointed out that below the long tabulated list of funerary offerings, there is a Saku scene. This scene depicts a lector priest holding a text in his left hand and reciting the appropriate.
Let's see if I have the continuation. Hold on, Kitty. So I thank you, Kitty. That was I couldn't have done that any close to the way that you did. Thank you. That was very masterful. So what Gerald Massey suggested the word Saku meant was understanding, the illuminator, the eye, soul of being, that which inspires. That psyche in the word psychology was probably derived from the Kemetic term Saku. Now that's profound. That's another a profundity right there. That psyche in psychology is probably derived from Saku. Dr. Obenga recommended that instead of seeking the Saku, it's more correct to say doing the Saku. Everybody with me? You guys awake out there?
Yep.
All right. So, Kitty, pick it up again. That's
Okay, and pick it up. Directly behind the lector priest, there are 3 kneeling lector priests who are chanting the quote, mini Saku, unquote. The recitations designed to transform the deceased into a glorious spirit, i.e. Ankh or Akchu. Dr. Obenga noted that the language of ancient Kemet would not say, quote, seeking the Saku, unquote, as much as it would say doing the ritual of the Saku. Hence, Dr. Obenga suggested that a good translation of seeking the Saku would be Iret Her Saku, performing the Saku.
performance. Thank you, brother. So here's some more of those poses. See what Colin. It's just something that's in your soul. You don't know why you're doing it necessarily. You think you're doing it for one reason. It's inspiring. That's one of the definitions of it. But it goes all the way back to Kemet. It's a praise or jubilation. Now this is my friend. When I'm talking about Fahmy, this is my friend Fahmy, and I was looking at his post one day, and he did this. He was there. Oh, and you know, and I see something. Let me pause here. I see something in the background that I want us to look at. This is just, it's not what it is, but it kind of looks like it. You see this here in the background? It looks like a Kwanzaa table. And you know, it looks like they're lighting some candles, but really these are loaves of bread. But kind of, and usually it's not that many loaves. It'll be like 7 or 8. It'll look reminiscent of a Kwanzaa table. All right, let me get back to this. So here Fahmy is doing this, and it made me write to him, and I always refer to him as Saba. He doesn't ask for that, but Saba is a word that means teacher. I said, you know, could you please tell me, you know, are you familiar with the term Saku? You know, it comes from the relief in this picture. Also, I include the text from the book Seeking the Saku by Wade Nobles. And he wrote this back to me. He said, this dance is a recall of the most ancient souls of the great wise people lived in 2 mysterious cities called Pai and Nekin. The dance called Nini and Nekin, it's to welcome them to the king's last ritual of the opening of the mouth. Here's my friend doing the prayer with their statues at the Egyptian Museum, one on the heart and one to the heavens. And then he continues, let me get this up here. I didn't mean to do that. Come back. This up. He said the word in hieroglyphics as an oath. Notice the man with his hand on his mouth. Also the strongest oath that is something like cross my heart is Akhenaten's oath when he raised the Ankh to his mouth and says, Anki, I swear on life itself. Anytime, and then I wrote thanks, and he wrote back, anytime, my friend, and by the way, the picture you posted recalls, the picture you posted, it's a recall if the ancestors, I think, thinks it's, so anyway, that was kind of our little back and forth. So this is Fahmy continuing. So ancient prayer to summon the Aku as ancestors or celestial being, spirit of our fathers. Irit meant to see, to seek, to see beyond the physical, to go deep in oneself. So here we see Colin Kaepernick, and here Dr. King is almost doing it. And it caught on in Congress. Here's all, I think this is Kamala Harris. It looks like her in the background. It's kind of faded, but I think this is her. So here are senators and Congress people kneeling in recognition of what Colin Kaepernick started. They all have on their kente, scarf, and here they are again. He probably couldn't kneel. That's why he's standing. And there's King Kamehameha was a black man, the king of Hawaii, and that's his statue. So, anybody want to read that part as we close this section out?
Saku Sheti are two terms from the Medu-Neter Egyptian hieroglyphs. The word Saku means understanding, the illuminator, the eye, and the soul of the being, that which inspires. Sheti means to go deeply into a subject, to study profoundly, to search magical books, to penetrate deeply. Accordingly, I have suggested that the term Saku Sheti should be used to represent the deep, profound, and penetrating search, study, understanding, and mastery of the process of illuminating the human spirit. Hence, in closing, I am suggesting that the thought and theory of African psychologists should be governed by deep, profound, and penetrating search, study, understanding, and mastery of the process of illuminating the human spirit in its full and complete authenticity.
Great, man. Thank you, Brother Keating. So, Saku Sheti means understanding, the illuminator, the eye, the soul of being, that which inspires. It means to go deeply into a subject. You know, Damani, you don't have to respond because you're on the road, but when I think about you, you tend to go deeply into a subject. And actually, Damani's not the only one. When I consider all of you that are on this Zoom session with us, just coming to Black Knowledge Matters, you all in one way or another go deeply into a subject. It's not just superficial. There used to be a white reggae band, and it was called Strictly Roots in the Bay Area, and I had some Jamaican and Caribbean friends, and they called that group Strictly Surface. And maybe that was a little unfair because they were trying to play reggae, but you all go deeply into a subject. Every one of you that are on this screen, that are in this Zoom. Saku Sheti, to study profoundly, to search magical books, to penetrate deeply. Together, they represent the deep, profound, and penetrating search, study, understanding, and mastery of the process of illuminating the human spirit in its full and complete authenticity. And, we started talking about, Kamala Harris, and then we went into all those people that were killed by the police. And I saw this meme back a while, and it says, "Vote because we can't." So don't just sit on your hands. Don't say, "My vote doesn't count." Get out there and vote. I want to thank Saraswati. Look at what Saraswati was doing. She didn't know that we would be talking about this tonight. And she was there putting stamps on postcards to get out the vote. Ashe. Okay.
Thank
Well,
you.
well, you guys hung with me, huh? I thought you had gone. Go ahead, Damani. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I'm off on Wednesday. I'm just getting home. I was in my car.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been studying deeply lately on the car and the bar.
Uh-huh.
For the last month, I've been reading everything I can, contemplating on about the car and the bar. Have you ever heard of this guy from Esoterica named Dr. Justin Sledge?
I don't think so. But keep
Anyway,
going. It might ring a bell.
Anyway, but what I found out, the car is like the etheric life body detached from the universal life source. The Chinese call it the universal chi field. The Indians call it the prana.
Yeah.
The ancient Kemetic, our ancestors call it the ka.
Yeah.
Call it the ka. And so in the bar, I understand the bar to be, the opening of the mouth ceremony, releasing the bar. I understand the bar to be the consciousness and the non-physical qualities that make up the personality.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the main premise of Egyptian, Kemetic religion or Kemetic studies was that humans are divine.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought it was pretty interesting as I'm studying some of Dr. Sledge's work, Justin Sledge's work. He talks about the Pyramid of Unis. Are you familiar with the Pyramid of Unis? Anyway, it goes on to the pyramid text.
Uh-huh.
He claims it was 5 pyramid texts, the coffin text.
Yes.
And this led to a renaissance in the religious writings back in the early 1800s. And but anyway, he goes on. Most time Budge named it the Egyptian Book of the Dead, but it really was the Per Em Heru, coming forth by day, as you know. And this was not just funeral rituals. These was not just funeral rituals, but they was also celestial immortality rituals.
Mm-hmm.
Our ancestors sought celestial immortality among the imperishable stars. I can't remember of the northern sky. The imperishable stars. One of them is in the handle of the.
Sorry.
One of them's in the handle of Major Ursa, which is the Big Dipper.
Yes.
They call Mazar, M-A-Z-A-R, and the other star. They call them the imperishable stars because they don't go below the horizon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They never set.
Right.
And so they saw these stars as a symbol of, and you can see them tonight in the sky, if it's not a cloud cover. And the other one was, I think,
and if it's not too much, if it's not too many lights,
too much light pollution. And the other one's called Mochab, M-O-C-H-A-B, I believe, or M-O-C-H-A-R. It's in the Ursa Minor, which is the Little Dipper.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I thought this was some pretty interesting stuff. So it seemed like our ancestors during the period, I say this and be quiet. It seemed like our ancestors was, with the pyramids was, those shafts in the pyramid was the ascension, was dealing with what's the word I'm looking for? Well, anyway, dealing with ascension. And so what Robert Bauval points out in Black Genesis on his YouTube video, that our ancestors figured out a way to release the bar and to send it back to propel it back to its primordial beginnings. It's a primordial beginnings, which are in the constellation of Orion. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's the kind of stuff I've been studying lately.
Yeah, that's really deep. The reason why we named our son Kaaba, Kaaba.
Right.
That's and you know, word sound have power. So there's a stone, a black meteorite stone that is worshipped. It goes back 1,000 years, maybe even further than Islam. People were always doing that, and when you know, I wish we had had the presence of mind to take the picture. But Kaaba, when he was born, he had like a melanin spike on his ring finger. And, you know, usually babies get those on their butt, but he had his on his ring finger. And that ring finger goes directly to the heart, you know. So that was our little adventure in naming. Go ahead, Brother Sebastian.
It's really interesting as I'm going through this, you know, we do the Ma'afa commemoration Sunday. You end your presentation with vote because we can't. And then Brother Imani brings this ascension of the ancestors, you know, connection to the cosmos, and it's just interesting how all of this just sort of flows together.
It's all interconnected. And, you know, the thing is, we didn't know that we were going to say this today, just now, but that's the way things work. I wanted to share. I have one of my albums, Brother Damani, is called the Ka and the Ba, and these are different representations. So the Ba is usually depicted a human head with the body of a bird, and the Ka is two upraised hands. Like, for instance, this is found in the Cairo Museum, and it's called the Ka of Hor, and it's in like a wooden little box, and there he is again. That's him, and his eyes are kind of like hazel. These are some more depictions of the Ka. That's the Ba. It's Ka. It's the Ka. That's the Ba. And it's holding eternity in both of its talents. And this is the Ba holding eternity, returning to the Kat, the body. It's the Ba again, the Ba. Ba, the Ba. This is a female version of the Ba. Ba. There's the Ba. Interesting configuration there. This Ba is shown in the judgment scene. This is the Ba, the Ka, the Ak. And this, the mummy, the body is the Kat. Here's the Ba returning to the tomb. And flying away from the tomb. That's a beautiful one there. And see, it's depicted in a lot of different places. Here's a Ba wearing the crown of Upper and Lower Kemet. Here it's more spelled out for us.
What is the ark? What is that? AKH? What's that?
That's more of like a spirit. When you go to the temple of Edfu, like, okay, brother has, like in his background, like the staircase. But this, like when you go to the front of the temple at Edfu, this Ba is there. This is the Ab or the Ib, the heart. Heart. This actually is something else. It's called the Merkaba. That would take a long time to explain. There's the Ka again. These three go together. This kind of like little 3 they use to represent an A. That's not either one, but I just really love this symbol. And I don't know why I have James Brown in it. let me stop. Why did I put James Brown? Let's pick it back up. All right. So here, this is on top of a pyramidion. I don't know why I have hit Harud there. Oh, this is a Nubian version of the Ba. Yep. There's different definitions. Different authors that you read will tell you different definitions. This is found in the Nubian tomb. Here's the Ba there, and this is the Ib, the heart. And I guess that's it for that chapter. And now, Sugar D, I have a video about it. So let me start it here.
What you've done for me. Oh, I'm happy inside all of the time. Oh, when we bend the new corners, I feel like.
All right. Enough of this. I'm glad you all could join us today. Satisfy My Soul. That was, of course, done by the Honorable Robert Nesta Marley. And Kitty, thank you for your masterful reading today. You have such a great announcer's voice. And
hey, I'm learning from you.
Oh, stop it now. That's not true. Stereo 107. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm crazy, Sugar D. All right. I can't help myself. All right. So tomorrow we're going to, in SOS, if you'd like to join us tomorrow, we're going to be talking about chapter 3 in Stolen Legacy. So we're going to be talking about chapter 3 in Stolen Legacy. And Damani, we're going to try to answer that question that you had about the Ankh. Okay? All right. Thank you, Sister Keisha.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Guidance and protections, life, prosperity, and health. Live up.
All right. Live up, everyone.
Ashe.
Live up.
Ashe.
Mhm. Sure, sure, I will. I'll do that, Tony. Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Mona. Didn't get a chance to speak to you. How are you? Mona and Mama Rose.
Blessings all.
Blessings, blessings, Mama and Gina. All right, live up.